morning, everyone. We're at Dental 101 today, and we are with Dr. Lina. How are you?
Very good, Rada, and you?
I'm good, thank you. So we are going to talk about provisional crown prep. So we have many things to say. Let's start.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of things to say about this particular task. But before we get into the rubric and start revising all the points, it is important for us to talk about the putty that you need to have before you are doing your crown preparation. That putty is going to be the success of your provisional crown as well, because if you have a very good putty, you most likely are going to have a very good provisional crown. So usually there's several techniques for you to get the putty. The one that sometimes we recommend is the double step putty, which is basically take one amount of putty, a small amount of putty first, try to take or copy all the anatomy with that first layer. And on top of that layer, we are going to put a little bit more of putty in order to get some bulkiness in your putty key.
Support, yes.
Yes, the idea of that bulkiness is that when you are going to do your provisional crown, you can seat your putty and your material is not going to flow away completely of your preparation. So that's important. So having said that, I think there's parts of the criteria that you can tackle easily just by getting a good putty. Isn't that right, Rada?
Yeah, correct. So this will tackle many criteria. So first of all, when you do your putty, you need to assess that it sits well before starting your crown preparation, because if not, it will affect one of the criteria, for instance, the last one, occlusal contact. So if your putty is not sitting correctly, it will be either supra most of the time, or infra occlusion. So although we cannot assess correctly with the lower jaw if we are preparing an upper tooth or opposite, we can see if it is supra or infra by assessing with the putty if it's sitting or not.
That's correct. So it is very important to take in account what Rada just mentioned, because that particular part of the criteria is going to be tackled just by getting a good putty. That's why we stress a lot that you take the time to make a suitable putty for your provisional crown.
And to just verify that it's sitting well on your other teeth before starting the preparation of your crown.
Correct. Also with that putty, you are going to get the appropriate morphologic tooth contours. That's also another part of the criteria. So that first layer of putty is going to copy all of those contours, and then you are going to tackle another part of the criteria. The whole idea of this process to do the putty is that you don't have to work with your provisional very much after you are going to do it. If you need to fix a lot of things of your provisional because you have a lot of excess or you have deficiencies, then it's going to take a lot of time. And trying to fix the provisional, sometimes the end result is not the best. So that's why we want to make sure that in one go you have a very good provisional, and the minor polishing is going to be very easy for you guys to do.
Exactly. So once you get your putty, you start your crown preparation. Then after that, you're going to place your material in the putty. But before that, you're going to place Vaseline on the adjacent teeth, on your gums, and the tooth that you are going to prepare. Then you bleed your gun to have as less as possible uncured resin. And after bleeding your gun, you place your tip, or the DA, the day of exam, will do it for you. And then you place the tip of your gun inside the putty, and you always have to have to let it flow, and always the tip inside the resin. All the time, it will reduce the amount of bubbles and porosities. Even though we cannot have 100% porosity free, it's it will reduce considerably the amount of porosities and bubbles.
Yes, that's correct. Regarding the porosities, which is another part of the criteria, you have to know, like Rada said, even though you are going to follow the protocol, sometimes you will get porosities. The most important part here is that you are able to assess your porosity. Sometimes if the porosity is very big, it's not worth it to keep that specific provisional crown. It's better for you if you redo it again. But if you think the porosities are minor and you can handle it trying to patch it up with a bit of flowable or even packable composite, go for it and do it. But be strategic in assessing on what things are you going to spend your time trying to fix your provisional. The less you have to do, the better is going to be the end result.
So something also I personally did the day of my exam, I did 2 provisional in one go. So just in case one of my provisional is not good, or if it slips from me and I find it on the floor, or if anything like any problem, at least I have another one that is already ready for me to polish and work on.
That's a good advice, definitely. Well, regarding the rubric, I think you are feeling that this time we are just touching the rubric in different parts and not very organized like we used to do it with the other rubrics. It's just that we need to tackle first the topic about the putty, which is going to basically give you all the points of the criteria in the last part, which is basically the emergence profile, the proximal contact tightness and contour, the morphologic contours as well, and also the occlusal contact. So that part of the rubric is already tackled if you have a very good putty. The other parts of the rubric, which are the material handling, Rada already told you guys about how to, what's the technique or how to put the material inside of your putty so you can get the less porosities that you can have. Coming back to the beginning of the rubric, I think one of the first point is the tooth restoration junction, which is basically going to be very important. We don't want any deficiencies between the margin and the preparation, or the margin of your crown preparation with the margin of the provisional. Obviously, a good putty is going to give you that, and a good technique to polish the provisional as well, right?
Yeah. So, sorry. So, when you have your provisional, one thing, when mostly we're gonna polish with soft lac disc and remove the excess and all that. So, when you remove your putty, first of all, wipe it with alcohol wipes. So this will tackle another criteria, which is the restoration polish. So this will give you a very nice shine, and it will be very nicely polished. No need to touch anything in buccal and lingual or palatal side. Just you're going to work on your proximal areas. Then you have this junction. So now you just need to work on the margin area and proximal side. So for the junction, basically it's the margin. You're going to polish a little bit with the soft like this. So instead of working horizontally, so you need to work vertically. So I'm going to show you a bit because it's difficult without showing anything. So you have the part of the margin here. So inside you should have the tooth. So instead of working like that with the soft leg disc, this will remove some margin from your provisional, and you will get a gap between your provisional and your preparation. You should work vertically with the soft leg disc. This will remove with the excess without removing some of the preparation.
Correct.
Hope I'm clear.
No, yeah, I understood. And I also think that technique is very useful because if you work horizontally, you are going to create a deficiency. But remember that if you also overwork the polishing process vertically, you are going to take away all the emergency profile, and then the deficiency is going to be vertically instead of horizontally. So either way, you need to be very careful in how you are going to polish your provisional. The less you have to touch it, the better. Also, when you are removing your putty and you are wiping everything with the alcohol wipe, as Rada advised you guys already, make sure that at that point you are going to tackle the part of the criteria that is related to excess material. You remove the putty, you clean it, you wipe it with your alcohol wipe, and then you start removing all the excess on the adjacent teeth and also underneath the gingival margin, because always, some material is going to flow everywhere. So the Vaseline probably will help you to make that material not very sticky to the other parts of the jaws, but make sure that as soon as you remove everything and wipe it, then you remove the excess material, because that's one part of the criteria that most of the people tend to forget, because they are concentrated in the provisional, obviously, and towards the end they cannot do it because they don't have the time. So make sure that you spend a little, couple of seconds doing that, and you already tackle and get that out of the way.
Exactly. So one thing also that you can tackle with the alcohol wipe is the material handling, because it will remove the uncured resin at the surface and at the same time polishing it. Right. So this is one of the criteria.
So as you can see, everything that we spoke about this rubric today is more related in the process previous to actually get the provisional crown, how to put the material, how to take the putty, how to polish. So those parts are the most important ones. And at the end, the result should be something very polished, very smooth, and very well adapted as well.
Without much effort.
Exactly. That's the aim of this task, that you have a very good crown preparation, therefore you will have a very good provisional crown if you follow all the protocol. And there's another thing that we were talking earlier with Rada, is that when you are going to do your provisional crown, if you keep seeing the same little mistakes or errors on your provisional crown, probably you need to revise your crown preparation.
Yes. Tooth preparation. Maybe if you see for the second time that you have a little hole, for instance, on the palatal surface of your canine, and you repeat it, maybe because it is more about the under-reduced your palatal surface, so you need to prepare again to get enough thickness, first of all, for your provisional, but also to fill the criteria of the thickness for the amount of reduction of your lingual or palatal part, for instance.
Correct. So in the tasks that are related to crown preparation, provisional crown, you will see that everything goes together. If you have a good preparation, you will have a good provisional. The provisional will show you the defects on your preparation as well. You need a good putty to get a good provisional, because also the provisional is going to show you mistakes on the putty. Unfortunately, if you have a big mistake on your putty that is creating some deficiency in your provisional crown, well, that's something that we cannot fix at that stage, because you are already cut the tooth. But if you pay attention to those particular steps, you should be okay for with these particular tasks.
Something also I would like to emphasize, so about the damage to the adjacent tooth or the assessment tooth or the gum. So once you create a damage when you are preparing your crown prep, this will affect also your provisional. So if you damage the gum when you're doing your crown prep, this will be a double punishment for your provisional. So pay attention to that, because it will remove your marks for provisional preparation and for the crown preparation as well.
Yeah, that's something to keep in mind, to be very strategic. If you have damaged the gingiva, there's no turning back on that probably. But if you have nicked the tooth or the teeth next to the preparation, you can smoothen that. You can try to polish it a little bit better so it doesn't show as much, and you don't lose any scores in the task regarding the crown preparation and in the task regarding the provisional crown as well.
And also, as Lina said, don't leave it like that. Try to polish it, maybe a polishing strip. At least instead of being borderline or unsatisfactory, you will fall on satisfactory, so which is better for your overall grade.
Yes. Well, guys, I think this is pretty much regarding the provisional crown restoration.
I just like to add, sorry, Lina, for the contact point. So when you'll have the contact point area, you will have to identify very well where it is. Usually it's a round circle, which is a bit rough. So this, don't touch it at all. Then you have to remove the excess all around with the soft-leg disc and make it merge with the rest of the crown. And also for the excess beneath this contact point, this will also tackle the emergence profile, because you have to compare also with the opposite tooth, because maybe you will have a triangular embrasure. So this will ease about the emergence profile, about overhangs. So really important to vertically, again with the soft like this, polish this area, remove it, and make it merge with the rest of the tooth. And also for the provisional contact contour, and so it is about the width and the height. So make sure you can if you identify correctly, it shouldn't be enough, but if you have a doubt, compare with the opposite tooth again to judge and assess where you should place this contact.
Right. Regarding polishing that particular area, the soft flex disc is a very good option. You're also going to have the enhanced disc during the exam. That one is going to take away the excess. At the same time, it's going to give you the smoothness that you need towards the end. That will probably, you are not going to get in one step with the soft flex disc. So just make sure to use whichever tool you feel that is
helpful for you.
Exactly.
Which
something that you can
you.
Exactly, something that you can control as well. So I think that's pretty much it, right, Rana?
Yeah.
Okay, good guys. As usual, we hope that this video is helpful for you guys in this journey for ATC practical examination, and make sure that you can contact everyone in Dental 101 if you need any further information.
Okay, so that's the end of the video. Hope you are studying well and practicing hard.
Definitely.
Yeah, so bye-bye guys.
Bye.
See you next time.